Jack Freestone. In this video, we're going to talk about what makes Jack Freestone a really, really good surfer, and we're also going to touch on a few points of what's holding him back in his surfing. First of all, I want to preface by saying that I think Jack Freestone has done a huge service to this sport of surfing in advancing the sport of surfing to new heights, and just he's one of the my favorite surfers to watch in general as well. But in this video, we're going to be talking about what makes him a really, really good surfer, and then we're also going to analyze his footage and talk about what things he could potentially improve on. And I thought you guys might find it interesting. We'll talk about what he does right. And the first thing that he does right is that he looks at where he's going to go. So if we start this video again, you can see that he's eyeing off the section, and that's where he wants to go and launch off, obviously. And then you can also see he looks back and then looks around and looks at his landing and follows through with his backside air reverse. When you're doing airs, turns, pumping the line, taking off on the wave, paddling for a wave, you want to look at where you're going to go. That's the most important thing with surfing. It's the most important thing with a lot of other sports as well. And essentially, I just wanted to clarify that, looking where you want to go can't be sort of overemphasized as well. It's something that is super, super important for your balance and your body's center of gravity and just your overall coordination. You can see that he's watching the section. It's allowing him to figure out when he needs to draw his bottom turn. It's helping him time it correctly. When he looks around, it's helping him rotate his body around. It's helping him either landing to anticipate the impact and then helping him land. So looking where you want to go is something that Jack Freestone does extremely well, and it's what a lot of good surfers do. That helps them surf a lot better than the average surfer. The next thing that I wanted to bring up is that point two, is that he chases his tail when he does backside air reverses. This is a concept that I learned back in my days of when I was trying to learn these as well. And it helps you to stay over your board as your board's rotating away from where you're traveling towards with your center of gravity. So as you hit the lip, he looks back at his tail, which you can see just here. He's looking down like this, and then you can see that he follows that tail. He's still looking at the tail, see? And then he keeps looking. You can see that he's looking at the tail here. And then he then comes down, and he's obviously not looking at the tail now, he's looking at his landing. However, what it does is it allows you to stay over your surfboard. So when you're rotating frontside, which is this backside air reverse, you hit it and you rotate around the front side of your body, which is around that way. And what happens is he's rotating the direction. He's rotating this way around, which is the direction that is the opposite direction his body and surfboard is traveling, which is traveling across the beach right there. So when he's rotating that way, it's extremely hard to stay over your surfboard because the surfboard's constantly moving in this direction, but your body's not really wanting to, especially if you start to rotate and go back here. So the only way to keep over your surfboard is to look at where you want to go, which brings us back to point one. And that is essentially, you look at your tail of your surfboard as it rotates around, and it's kind of like a cat and mouse. It's like you're chasing your tail, like a dog. They chase their tail and they go around in circles. And that's what you need to do when you do backside air reverses, and that's something that Jack Freestone does extremely well when he does his backside air reverses. The next thing I want to bring up is that he loads up his coil when he does his airs or any maneuver. You should be always loading up your coil, and it's something that Jack Freestone does. You can see he does a couple of pumps here, and then before he gets to the section, he compresses down really, really low. So he's almost kneeling on the surfboard just here. His knee is almost touching the board. His front knee is bent to even more than 90 degrees. And he's also able to touch the wave's face just here. And you can see his front arm is coming forwards. And he's in this loaded up phase. He's in like a chest over front knee position. And what that does is it gets his weight really low to the board, and it allows him to absorb all of the speed that he's generated. And it turns it into power that's within your body and within your knees, and then as you hit the section or you're driving up towards the section, you can release that power and turn it into kinetic energy, which is speed and drive. And so when you compress really low like this, it allows you to then extend and push out from that position, and that's super, super important for any surfer and any maneuver, whether if it's pumping down the line, a carve, barrel riding, or doing airs. It's extremely important to load up your coil before you're going to do anything. A lot of surfing is bending and extending, And it even goes for airs too. So you can see he compresses, and then as he goes up, he's extending, and then as he hits the lip, he's fully extended and he's popping off the lip and allows him to have that lift off. This is very simple, very basic tips, but if you want some more information, reach out to us. We can offer you some coaching. We also have an online academy specified to help people to learn to do airs and other advanced maneuvers. But in this video, we're just going to keep it brief, keep it simple for everyone. But you can see that as he loads up his coil, that coil is extended right here. He's pretty much standing tall, and that pretty much is where he's pushing out into the air. So now the moment that you've been waiting for, and that is the things that he doesn't do right, or the things that are holding him back. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong or that he's a bad surfer. It just means these are the things that, from my personal opinion, that if he did, he would be a better surfer. Or so I think that he would be a better surfer. So let's have a look. So the first thing is that when he does his air reverse, you can see that he lands it with straight legs. And whilst he may have had perfect balance and he landed this really casually with a lot of stees, it can be risky doing this, especially if you're in a contest like Jack Freestone does. You're in a contest and he obviously landed with very good balance. He didn't really need to compress and ride out because he had perfect flow and the way he landed it. But all that has to happen is that your rail of your surfboard catches onto a chop, and then there you go, you're falling off. But if you're low to your board and you stay low, it means that your center of gravity is really low. And anything that happens here, look how much turbulence is on the foam, and all on, like out in the flats sometimes can be quite turbulent as well. There can be lots of chops and cross wobbles and things like that. And if you compress really low to your surfboard, not only do you unweight your surfboard a little bit to absorb that impact, but you also allow yourself to have a better sort of stance and a higher, like a lower center of gravity, so you can have much more elite balance. Whilst he's an amazing surfer, so that he knows he's landed backside air reverses before clearly, and so he's obviously able to have a lot more stees when riding out of this. But if this was in a contest, I doubt he would do that. But if you guys really want to start to make sure you're stomping your airs when you land, make sure you compress and you land at chest over front knee to maximize your balance and ride out probability as well. Let's look at point 2. So point 2 essentially touches on the fact that when he pumps down the line, he lacks the speed that he could have had if he used the whole wave face when he pumps down the line. So you can see he really just stays in the middle of the wave here. He's doing a couple of pumps, but they're really just like wiggles or flaps. So if here he didn't really go to the top of the wave, like he could have used more of the wave's face, and he could have actually done a much bigger air if he had have done that. Because he would have ended up with a lot more speed. So if he had have drawn a line, instead of stopping his line here, he could have drawn it up to here and then really used the speed from the top of that wave. There's actually a lot of energy in this section just here, you can see it. If he had have landed his surfboard just here and then come down about halfway and then gone back up slightly again, he would have had a lot more speed. Instead, he just sort of coasted across the middle of the wave, and I think whilst the section was sort of coming up to be a closeout, if he had have at least gotten one quality pump in, it would have helped him have a lot more speed, and he would have actually done probably an even bigger, more critical air, to be honest. The counteract of that is that if you focus too much on pumping and using up a lot of time and space on the wave, pumping really well, you can also mistime the section as well. So sometimes it's better just to line it up and to hit the section at the right timing instead of using all the wave and then making it more difficult for you to hit the section. However, one major pump here wouldn't have done him any bad. He would have been able to have a lot more speed. The other thing as well for anyone, this is point 3, is that he doesn't use his arms when he pumps. So you can see he keeps his arms pretty much low and hanging down. They do move a little bit when he pumps, but most of the time they don't really move. I would have liked to have seen his arms come up to shoulder height just here, and he lifted his arms. That just helps you unweight your surfboard and to really thrust off your fins and rail, and then allows you to sort of get higher up on the wave here like he should have with his pump. his line that he drew. It really helps when you throw your arms up when you're doing your pumping down the line. It just helps a lot with your speed generation and the effectiveness of it. So if you don't have much time to pump and hit a section and it's closing out and it's coming up fast, you need to make the most of the 1 or 2 pumps that you've got. And you need to know that when you do that pump, make sure you you lift your arms and then bring your arms down, just like you see skateboarders do and snowboarders when they're on the half pipes. When they're going up the ramp, their arms are up. When they're going down the ramp, their arms are down, just like John Florence surfs. This is one thing that Jack Freestone sort of he lacks is using his arms a little bit more. He could lift his arms up and use those arms as he pumps down the line. It would just help him a lot more with his speed generation. Well, so thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment. If you didn't enjoy the video, please leave a comment. If you're confused about anything discussed in this video, please leave a comment, leave a like, even dislike it, I don't really care. But what we do want to see is that people are interacting in the comments and everyone's supporting each other to improve their surfing, and that's all Surf Precision is about. Surf Precision Academy, we're about improving everyone's surfing. Whether if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced surfer, we want to create a culture around surfing that is all about improving and helping people land that next trick or do that better turn that they're wanting to do. If you're interested, head to our website, surfprecisionacademy.com.au, and sign up for our academy. You get 7 days free, and you basically get access to a suite of amazing online courses that take you through really, really difficult air reverses or straight airs and pop shove-its, things like that. And the best thing about it is you get mentorship from coaches directly. So coaches will reach out to you. You can reach out to the coaches and ask for advice, and we'll help you make sure that you actually improve your surfing. And that's on an on-demand basis, so you can just message us anytime. The other thing as well is you can send out your video clips to us. We'll review them. It's all included in your membership package. And you also get access to private communities, which are the other people that are in the courses and in the academy, and other surfers that are improving their surfing as well. So you can reach out to them, make friends with them, and also ask them tips as well. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to have some more surf tips delivered directly to your inbox. And yeah, see you in the next one.